US Vice President JD Vance said that Washington hopes that Islamabad will cooperate with India to hunt down Pakistan-based terrorists, and India's response to the terror attack in Jammu and Kashmir does not lead to a broader regional conflict.
I'm worried about any time you see a hotspot breaking out, especially between two nuclear powers. We've obviously been in close contact with our friends in India and Pakistan. Our hope here is that India responds to this terrorist attack in a way that doesn't lead to a broader regional conflict. And we hope, frankly, that Pakistan, to the extent that they're responsible, cooperates with India to make sure that the terrorists, sometimes operating in their territory, are hunted down and dealt with.
Vance made his remarks on the attacks in an interview with Fox News amid rising tensions between India and Pakistan. In the aftermath of the Pahalgam attack, US Vice President and his family was in India on a 4-day visit when Pakistani terrorists carried out the attack in Baisaran Valley, killing 26 civilians. Now, as before Vance's statement, the US Secretary of Defense Pete Hegseth called his Indian counterpart Rajnath Singh and sent out a strong message of solidarity over the Pahalgam terrorist attack. He said Washington supports India's right to defend itself and reiterated full US government support in India's fight against terrorism. Rajnath Singh told the US Defense Secretary that Pakistan has a history of supporting, training and funding terrorist groups, and it has been exposed as a rogue state, fueling global terrorism and destabilizing the region. He also said that it is very important for the global community to unequivocally condemn and call out such heinous acts of terrorism. Then, India's Union Home Minister Amit Shah, in his first public remark on the Pahalgam terror attack, vowed revenge and warned that those responsible for the deadly attack would not be spared, and every single terrorist will be tracked and punished.
और अगर कोई एक कायराना हमला कर ये समझता है कि हमारी बड़ी जीत है, तो एक बात मन से समझ लीजिए, ये नरेंद्र मोदी सरकार है, किसी को बख्शा नहीं जाएगा, किसी को बख्शा नहीं जाएगा। इस देश की इंच इंच भूमि पर से आतंकवाद को मूल समेत उखाड़ने का हमारा संकल्प है और वो सिद्ध होकर रहे। मैं सभी आतंक फैलाने वालों को कहना चाहता हूं कि लड़ाई का अंत नहीं है, एक मकाम है, हर व्यक्ति को चुन चुन कर जवाब भी मिलेगा, जवाब भी लिया जाएगा।
Meanwhile, Pakistan is in panic and its civilian and military leaders are scrambling as fears of Indian military action grow louder by the hour. Pakistan Prime Minister Shehbaz Sharif rushed to meet President Asif Ali Zardari to discuss the spiraling security situation. The two leaders spoke of unity, sovereignty and resolve, but the undertone was one of panic. On Thursday, Pakistan's Army Chief General Saeed Asim Munir visited the Tilla Field firing range to observe military exercises. Islamabad's official statements may speak of befitting responses, and a flurry of high-level huddles and drills betray the deep unease within Rawalpindi and Islamabad. Furthermore, the Atari-Wagah border crossing point between India and Pakistan has been shut completely, following a week-long heavy rush of people from either side to cross over, after Indian government ordered all Pakistani citizens with short-term visa to leave the country in the wake of the Pahalgam terror attack. And for more on this, we are joined by our Assistant Editor for Foreign Affairs, Siddhant Sibbal, live on the phone line. Siddhant, what can you tell us about the latest developments?
Has been remarked by the US Vice President JD Vance, who has said that Indian response should not lead to a broader conflict, even as he called on Pakistan to cooperate with India to make sure that terrorists are hunted down. That's the phraseology used by him. We also thought that the State Department reacted hoping for a responsible solution, but also pointing out that how the US President Donald Trump, in his conversation with the Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi hours after terror attack in Pahalgam, assured all support. At the UN, we saw how there was a briefing by the next president, in fact, the current president of the United Nations Security Council. His tenure starts from 1st of May. The Greek envoy, every country gets a chance of 1 month to be the president of the UNSC when it comes to the planning and taking calls. The president decides on the basic protocol and what should be on the agenda of the UNSC. And the questions that were asked in this almost 1 hour long briefing was if the India-Pakistan situation will be at the UNSC, and he did not deny that, saying that if there is a request, then there is a possibility sooner rather than later when it comes to the meeting happening. We know that Pakistan is a non-permanent member of the UNSC and could try to do something that, of course, irks India. We know that already Pakistan has been using the platform for its own anti-India propaganda, something that India has dismissed. In fact, just recently we saw how the Indian deputy envoy to the UN, Yojana Patel, slammed Pakistan, saying that it's a rogue state, continues to support terrorism, and also pointing out to how the Pakistani defense minister, Mr. Asif, had said that Pakistan has been doing the dirty game in terms of supporting terrorism in the region. So biggest worry for India remains terrorism. There's a palpable anger against Pakistan in India after a terror attack by Pakistani terrorists in India. And this is the worst terror attack in terms of the civilian casualties since the 26/11 terror attack. So essentially that has happened. We can expect as the day progresses more developments happening from New Delhi. We know that here in New Delhi it's a busy day. India is going to host the Angola president, but the big question is whether there will be a military response by the Indian side. That is something that will be carefully watched. In fact, one thing I can point out before I wind up is that the Indian Air Force Rafale fighter jets are going to do landings in Uttar Pradesh as part of their preparedness when it comes to any situation that might develop.
Right. Thank you, Siddhant, for joining us and getting us and our viewers up to speed on the latest developments.